I'm going to put this on Facebook. All right, so now it's connecting to Facebook. Oh, so exciting.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you hear that?
No.
It's
How are
all,
you doing? How are you doing, by the way?
I'm good. I mean, it's crazy. But of anybody who can prepare for this, it's us with like the freelance gigs,
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, we're just taking it day by day, moment to moment. And it's just, you don't have the benefit of having like, oh, work will come. Right now it's like, oh, who knows what's going to happen? No idea what's going on.
You're right, but we are kind of well suited because that's been our whole goddamn life.
Yeah, that's our thing. So it's like, this is pretty similar to what I'm used to anyway. It's just one of the dry spells that we happen to be confirmed indoors.
True.
So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we're here. Hi, Holly Laurent.
Hi, Jaysuka.
I'm so excited to be improvising with you. It's been a while.
I know. Gosh, it's been since West Side, right?
Yeah, we did Improv Famous a few years ago, a few months back, whatever that was.
I love the older you get. It's like, was that a few weeks ago or a few years ago?
It's like, when was 2001? All right, it's almost 20 years.
Ah, cool. Remember last week when we were scared of Y2K?
So we're doing 10 minutes right now. We've got 5 suggestions that came in through Facebook. So pick a number 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5.
2.
2. Suggestion is apple pie. Apple pie.
All right.
Smells good.
Ooh. Yeah, do you smell that?
Yeah.
Do you smell it?
I smell the cinnamon. I smell the pie. It's good.
I grated real cinnamon on one of those zesters. You know what a zester is?
Yeah, it's like lemon zest and orange zest, and you can grind it into a fine powder, right? Isn't that zest? It's like a fine powder.
Yeah, it's when you take the skin of the fruit. It's how you make a fancy cocktail, Charlie. Do you still drink?
Oh, Gladys, I drink every night. I have lemonade on my porch, and I put a little bit of whiskey in it. It's a whiskey lemonade every night.
Whiskey and lemonade, Charlie. Well, what is that called? Does that have a name? You know, they have names for drinks like that.
I call it the stovepipe.
The stovepipe. Now, did you make that up, or could I look that up in a drink menu?
I sure did make it up.
Charlie, how long have you lived here on Ferndale?
I mean, I celebrated my 42nd year this past year.
42 years.
42 years living here.
And you've taken this sunset walk every single night for 42 years?
Every night's the way I end my day.
Well, but I noticed the way how in the wintertime you got to take the walk right around 4:30. But in the summertime, you got to take your walk around 9:30, 10.
Why do you think that is, Gladys?
Well, I guess it's just our relation to the star, isn't it?
Yeah, it's when the sun goes down.
Well, I was thinking, I was making this pie because
It smells so good.
If I'm going to be very honest with you, I was trying to get it in the window before you walked by because I thought it might be like one of those old-timey cartoons where the lady would put an apple pie in the windowsill,
Yeah.
and then the rascals or the rapscallions would come by and try to steal the pie. I can't remember if that was a Tom and Jerry or what that was. What was that where they would put an apple pie in the window?
It was Tom and Jerry. It was most of the cartoons around that time where they did that. They put the pie in the window to cool, and then somebody came and snatched the pie right up.
You know what's so funny about those cartoons we grew up on, Charlie, is that I felt like they were preparing us for life. You know, don't go over a cliff like Wile E. Coyote, and don't get caught in quicksand. But I've gone my whole life, and I've never ever seen quicksand. I don't even know if it's real.
I don't know if quicksand is around now anymore. Maybe in the jungles. And I think all of those cartoons and even like the early nursery rhymes are all warnings to kids. Think about it. When the bough breaks, the cradle will fall. Down will come baby, cradle and all. It's all warnings to kids.
They were just always trying to scare us.
They
Now,
were trying to scare us.
you said the jungle might have quicksand. Did you?
Yeah.
I mean, when you were in the Peace Corps, did you go to the jungle, Charlie?
I can talk about it if you want.
Yeah, I've never even been out of Tennessee.
Yeah, in fact, you've never even left, I think, like a 4-mile radius.
No, I have not.
Yeah,
I have not.
Gladys, there's a whole world out there to explore, and it's never too late. It's never too late. You can go there if you want. When I was in the Peace Corps, I saw things that I never thought I'd see, things I never saw in Tennessee. I saw all throughout the world.
What did you see?
Well, quicksand, for one.
So quicksand is real.
Quicksand is real. It's not that quick. It's more like a very dense sand. You know, like when you go down to Anderson's Cove?
Yeah.
And there's that sand there and it gets real wet right in springtime?
It almost gets like clay.
It's like clay. It's like that. It's like that. But then the more you struggle, the more it holds on to you.
Oh, they should call it slow sand.
They should call it slow sand. I guess maybe it's quick. It's because it speeds up your defenses. But then you just get more trapped.
Man. Remember when we used to in high school go down there and jump in the water now?
Jump right in it. Yeah. Every day after school.
We'd jump right in there in our clothes and then sit there on that sand until our clothes dried off and we could walk home.
And we never made a thought about what was coming in the future or what was happening. It was just the moment we were into. The moment, every moment became important.
I never thought, thinking back to being that young,
Yeah.
I never ever thought that I would, back then I thought I was going to get married. I didn't think that I would just enjoy staying single for my whole life. And here you are, you were married and divorced and then married and then widowed or widowered. Can you call a man a widow, Charlie?
I think you're right. I think it's widowed, but I'm a widower. But I think the term is widowed. I think if it's a verb, it's widowed.
Yeah.
But like, I want to ask you why you never got married?
I used to really enjoy the company of a few men. When I went to school, I really enjoyed the company of men. I was courted several times. One time by a very rich man from Little Rock, Arkansas. His dad owned a semi-truck company.
Ooh, and you just never wanted to take it any further?
Well, we had different beliefs,
Okay.
different belief systems. He was a devout Christian, and I've always been a devout atheist. It never would have worked. And then I think I started to enjoy my solitude. I used to enjoy the company of a man. I've even enjoyed a few men's bodies. But I've retired in that area.
Wait. You?
Yes. I've done some smooching. I've done some necking.
No.
Yeah.
You've
Yeah.
necked.
It was very steamy, very steamy.
Like the jungle.
Is that what the jungle feels like?
Very steamy. You know what? You were in your own jungle right there. It was the jungle of love.
Isn't that right?
Yeah.
But now I enjoy bacon, as you can smell. I also enjoy when you walk by it every evening at sunset, just changing by a few minutes every day.
Mm-hmm.
I read the Reader's Digest every night.
There is humor in uniform.
Yes.
So much humor.
I think, but I like to mix it up. I've always said if variety is the spice of life, I think routine is the sugar of death.
Oh, you always had a way with words. You know what? I always thought that you would go out and you would be an author of some sort. You just knew how to tell tales, and I thought that's what you were going to do.
Well, I've been writing for years, but it's private.
Oh, please read something.
All right.
Read one thing.
All right. It was dark in Tremblewood as midnight approached, and there was No Name Johnson crawling on all fours. Doesn't that just pique your interest? What is it? Pique your interest or tweak your interest?
No, you had it right. It's pique your interest. If you want to tweak somebody's interest, you would keep reading. That would tweak it. That would add a little sugar to the interest. That would add a little fire to the story there. If you want to tweak my interest. Or maybe
Is
you
it
want to change it a little bit. You want to tweak it a little bit. It's like, I have your interest, but I want to change it just slightly.
just tweak it, just like
Just going
tweak
to tweak it.
it. Um, Now, is it P-E-E-K or P-E-A-K?
You know what? I was thinking the same thing because I was wondering, is it P-I-Q-U-E? Is that the peak, as in pique your interest?
Now, I've never known if it's coming down the pike or coming down the pipe.
I think it's coming down the pike, I think is what it is. I
What's a
always,
pike?
it could be coming down the pipe. I mean, either could work. I always thought that it was a long road to hoe, but it's a
Mm.
long row to hoe. And I learned that when I was in the Peace Corps. I kept saying it's a long road to hoe and a long road to hoe. And my friend Sully said, "What are you saying?" I said, "It's a long road to hoe." And he goes, "Man, I got to tell you what, it's a long row to hoe because you row, they use a hoe to get those rows." And I said, unbelievable.
Now, do you spell hoe with an H-O or an H-O-E?
Oh, I spell it with an H-O-E because it's an action. I want to hoe the fields, and it's a tool as well.
Well, when you're calling a woman a hoe, is it H-O or H-O-E?
Well, I'm embarrassed to say that I believe it's H-O,
It's H-O.
but I don't think you should be calling a woman that.
Well, thank you kindly.
You mind if I have
Now,
some of this pie?
now, I was going to ask if you would like fresh synonym on top.
I'll have some French cinnamon.
French. It is French. I ordered this from France. All right. Now it's a little too hot, so it's going to be a little messy.
That's the best kind. You know what my mama always said? It all eats the same.
Isn't that right? And it always goes to the same place. All that food's going to end up at the same place. I never let my food touch on the plate. I like to keep my Brussels sprouts away from my cornbread and away from my chicken.
You're very particular. I always remember that when you had lunch. Oh, thank you so much. You would bring lunch to school. You would never trade lunch with anybody. You would keep it all separately.
No, I'm very particular. I remember we were always at the same lunch table because our
Oh.
last names are so similar.
Mm, 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 mm. It's just the right temperature.
I have a secret ingredient in there.
What's that?
Love.
Scene! Yay! Oh, you're the best.
So fun.
Oh,
It ended with love. It's funny. Greg told me that when Cook County was doing teaching some improv and doing some shows in Poland, all the scenes in Poland always end with a hug. The scene isn't over until both characters hug.
oh my God, I'm moving to Poland. That's the greatest thing I've heard.
Also, the improvisers there are like full-time paid employees. Like the country like pays artists.
That'll never work. And the Greg you're speaking of is, of course, Greg Hess. And you and he have an amazing, it is so funny. It is so funny because it's so, you don't ever give away the fact that you're improvising this. I mean, you say it at the beginning now, but it's mega an improvised podcast. And it's about a fictitious mega church.
Yeah.
And you and him both play characters who are involved in the church. He plays a guy who I think is from Australia. I think.
Yes. Yeah. Who knows?
And he heads up the youth ministry Climax, which is like a amazingly funny, so good. It is such a joy. So thank you for putting those out. Like you always have on wonderful guests who come on and you give them different characters who are associated with this church. So the idea is just brilliant. And it's always fun to listen because you never let on that this is a comedy bit, which I really respect and appreciate.
Thank you so much for listening. And we will have you on. Now we're trying to do them remotely, and we've been trying to figure out the like Zencaster and like microphone and like all that stuff and then get you, it would be a lot like this. We would have you on, we put you on FaceTime, and then we would improvise it and try to, do you happen to have a mic?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
do?
I've got one here. I was trying to set it up today and I was having a little difficulty trying to figure it out with Zoom, but I've got one.
If you have a mic, that's really good. That'll help us a lot. If you can set up your mic, and then we'll bring you in through like Zencaster or whatever, and we'll have you on as a guest. That's good to know.
Oh, cool. Yeah, let's do like a test and see if it works.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, wait, I got to show you something. Wait,
Yeah.
hold on, Holly. I got to show you something. I know this is the biggest.
I love
I've
it.
got it on my laptop, so thank you. It's such a fun podcast, and it's really good. So thanks for
telling people about it. I'm so glad you got some merch. I'm so glad to see that. That makes me feel so good.
Give my best to Greg, and we'll talk soon.
I will. Thanks so much for having me, Jay. I hope you have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye. See you soon.